My name is Colleen Quinn, and my proposal is about the impact of open educational resources on community colleges. My proposed case study is going to analyze the use of open educational resources and how they impact community college students. I'll be analyzing my data with surveys to students using a parallel mixed methods design, which is going to explore both quantitative and qualitative data. The first thing we need to understand is what is a community college. A community college is an open access institution, which means that there is no requirements to attend college if you are applying at a community college. Many of our students are first-time college students in their family. Many of them attend classes part-time because they're also working full-time jobs or possibly several part-time jobs, and they're providing for a family. The average age of community college students nationwide is 25 years old. My institution in particular, which is Erie Community College in Buffalo, New York, our average age is 27.8 years old, which is much older than the first-time counterparts at many four-year institutions, which has a lot of students coming right out of high school at 18, 19 years old. Some predictors of retention that I have researched involves availability of financial aid, so reducing cost to attend college, and then access to course materials. And how does this cost affect our student persistence? So with a theory called financial nexus theory, it shows that as more financial aid is available for community college students, they are able to make decisions that are important persistence decisions that lead them to take more classes at a time, which helps them complete quicker. So the dollar amounts of costs and aid a student experiences at the time of a persistence decision has a direct effect on persistence. So if students know that the amount of money they are spending is not as much as they normally would spend, perhaps they would take more credit hours. If the amount of money is high, then perhaps they would take less. Open educational resources, OERs, are free open access to high quality textbooks, online homework, online support, videos, journals, applications, and other materials. They all have a Creative Commons license, meaning that they can be used with support of the authors in any setting. It is my belief that OERs in the classroom can impact student learning outcomes through improved teaching and learning, and it can also increase student persistence and retention rates by removing cost barriers once associated with attending college. OERs can reduce the cost of textbooks. So if you think of what textbooks cost our students, they can range anywhere between $100 to $200 per class. And if you look at a student that is taking a full-time load, so approximately 12 to 15 credit hours, that's 4 to 5 courses per semester. So if we're being on the low end of things, that's $100 per textbook for 5 classes. That's $500 a semester. That's $2,000 in a 2-year degree on the low end of textbook costs. On the higher end, it can be closer to $4,000 to $5,000 during a student's journey through college. So it is open educational resources allow students to save that money and perhaps take more courses than they would normally take, and then it also gives them materials on the very first day of classes. So what happens at my institution is many students come in and they do not have financial aid, so they have to purchase the textbooks themselves. And with that, they may have to wait a week to 2 weeks, perhaps a pay period, because they have rent. They have kids that they have to pay for daycare. They have to buy groceries. There are other things that are more important to that student and their family than spending $200 on a textbook. So many times the students may not have a text until 4 to 6 weeks into the semester. 6 weeks into a 15-week semester is more than 1/3 of the semester has been finished, which is detrimental to students' learning and understanding and success rates. OERs allow students to have their course materials on day one, and then they are starting at the same stage as everybody else in the classroom. OERs can have impact on student learning. Some studies that I've looked at measure the course materials and its quality, and one of the things that they have found is that even though OERs may not positively directly impact student learning, the students have been doing slightly higher or the same, which means that it's a win. So if they're doing the same or slightly higher than their non-OER counterparts, they're saving money and they have a quality textbook. Some other studies I looked at impact on student persistence. So persistence would be the number of credit hours that students take from semester to semester, trying to complete degrees within 2 years or 4 semesters. So students enrolled in OER courses enrolled in an average of 13.29 credit hours, which is above the 12 credit hour limit for full-time. Students who were in the control group or non-OER enrolled at an average of 11.14 credit hours. So they were at part-time status, which means it's going to take them longer to complete the degrees. So the data suggests students saving money on textbooks enrolled in additional courses with the money they were saving, which is helping them move through their degree path quicker, which is a theory known as academic momentum. My research questions are going to be looking at the registration trends for campuses that offer OER courses, student success rates in OER versus non-OER, and then how the teacher use of OER materials influence student learning, retention, persistence, and success rates of community college students. My study proposal is a mixed method approach, which will be using a sequential exploratory method. I'll be using sequential exploratory method because it is best for testing an emergent theory, and OER is relatively new to the education field. A college in Massachusetts was the first one to house a repository of OER materials, and that started in 2016, and it's only 2019, so this is only at best 3 years old. I'll be looking at the impact of college success and retention, as well as student opinions about the material. So it'll be both quantitative and qualitative. So with my parallel mixed design, I'll have a qualitative sample description and a quantitative sample description. In the qualitative, I'll have studies that'll be collecting data from incoming freshman students, and they will be students that'll be in my courses. I teach introductory statistics. I have 4 classes. 2 are seated and 2 are online, so I'll be able to look at both modalities there. And my courses are also common course for anyone in a general education degree path, so they're high filled. So anywhere in a semester I could have between 70 to about 100 students. My quantitative data is going to look at other highly enrolled general education courses, including my own statistics, but algebra, calculus, and then some social science courses, as well as natural sciences and humanities electives to compare across those areas. I'm hoping to interview and look at success rates for anywhere between 500 and 1,000 students. I plan on getting that information through our institutional research department, which is why I'll need to have an application for IRB so that I can obtain that data. This is a quick little design that walks you through my research method. So I have a quantitative strand and a qualitative strand, and it takes us through the design, our methods, my analysis, and then what inferences I'm hoping to apply, which are answers to my 3 research questions. So one of the things I'm going to be looking at is student registration trends. I'll be submitting surveys to my students at the beginning and the end of the semesters in both modalities. I will have optional participation for my students, and I'll be only using the results from students that participate in both the beginning and end surveys. I'm hoping to explore financial impact on students and how it affects their decisions while registering for classes, and I'll be looking for themes among my student responses to provide general conclusions about how finances impact student registration decisions. I'll be doing a comparative method to further analyze my results, and I am hoping to find an expected theme, an emergent theme that will relate cost savings to the number of classes, with categories including but not limited to textbook costs, which is of course the main thing I'll be looking at, but I want to also look at purchase pointed textbooks, cost savings, credit hours, financial aid, and then student status, whether it's full-time or part-time, and any other financial barriers that students may have. An anticipated result could show textbook and course materials costs factor into their decisions, and it could also factor into whether they are full-time or part-time. Cost savings, I'll be looking at the cost of textbooks in the college bookstore at Erie Community College. I will be looking at the costs at the bookstore because Amazon costs, even though we can rent textbooks from Amazon or we can buy things used at a relatively cheap price, students that receive financial aid, TAP or Pell, are ineligible to buy those books through Amazon. So then it is further impacting their ability to learn and have materials on the first day of school. So I'll be looking at the cost points of textbooks that are available in the school bookstore and what the real cost to students would be on that end. I'll be looking at univariate data to summarize it and correlate it, looking at the students that enroll in OER versus non-OER courses. I'm anticipating that OER students will save a significant amount of money each semester. And then I'll also be looking at general education courses and the impact of cost savings for students that register across divisions. Student success, I'll have observational data. I'll be looking at levels of passing grades starting with a D or higher. Past studies have looked at a C and a C minus, but I would like to look at a D because at community college, a D is considered passing and will get you your degree. C is for if students are going to transfer to other institutions, so I want to make sure I can look at all the spectrum of grades. An anticipated result is that students enrolled in OER perform the same or better than their counterparts in non-OER, and that I'm hoping there is a significant enough strong correlation to show success with the materials. Of course, I'm going to be taking precautions that my enthusiasm for the subject does not create bias in my hypothesis. Linking the student success in OERs, I do have two sets of data for quantitative and qualitative, so I'm hoping that I can link the information together in my analysis. So I'll be doing a method-by-method comparison in order to merge my results by discussion. With that, I'm hoping that as I look at my quantitative results, I can use the student interview and survey results to complement my quantitative data results. Implications and discussion. I anticipate that many of the things that I did discuss will come true. However, it's possible that my findings may diverge. If my quantitative and qualitative data diverge, I'll be able to reconcile my divergence by reanalyzing the existing data and try to find a new framework or perspective. Some things that could happen is that OER materials may not have a significant difference at all. Something else is that increasing textbooks costs do not have a significant impact on student registration and retention. But right now, at this point, it's impossible to predict that, so I will have a plan in place in case it does in fact happen. Future research could look at students beyond 2 semesters and explore other potential barriers beyond textbook costs for attending community colleges. My conclusion, I believe OER is a game changer in education, especially at the community college, because our students come from diverse social and economic backgrounds. Thank you. References. And thank you. I'm just at my 15 minutes for my free trial for Screencast-O-Matic. Thank you so much.